Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am your lady lawyer, attorney Maria Cecilia Oliva, certified public accountant of the Oliva Law Office, Digos City, Davao del Sur. If you're looking for general guidelines on what you need to prepare for if you wish to proceed to law school here in the Philippines, this is the video for you. You need to remember that before you can enroll in law school, you must be a bachelor's degree holder for a 4 or 5 year course. So if you finished a vocational course, then you cannot enroll in law school yet, unless and until you obtain a bachelor's degree for a 4 or 5 year course. It doesn't matter if it's Bachelor of Science in Nursing or Bachelor of Science in Engineering. As long as it's a 4 or 5 year course, then you are good to go to enroll in law school. Now, before enrolling in law school, you must know what are those documents that you need to submit to them for you to be admitted. Okay, the most common documents that they would ask are the college transcript of records, the certification of good moral character, which you can get from your college or university. Don't forget that some may ask for your PSA copy of birth certificate. If you are a woman who is married, then you may be asked to furnish them with the PSA copy of your certificate of marriage. The best recourse here is that you should go to your desired law school and ask them what are the documents that you need to submit to them for enrollment. Some, if not most, law schools would require new enrollees to take an entrance exam. So I highly suggest that you also ask the law school of your choice whether or not they would require you to take that entrance exam, and of course, when are the schedules of those exams. Now, the most important question is, what are the basic things that you need to have in order to survive at least the first semester of law school? Now, most law professors would say that the secret to surviving law school is what they call the 3 L's. Okay? We have the law, language, and logic. I will not discuss the law anymore because that is what you will be learning in law school. Instead, I want to talk a little bit about the two other L's, which are the language and the logic. Now, when we talk about language, you have to remember that Philippine laws are written in English. So you can reasonably expect that when you go to law school, the language of instruction is really English. Okay? So, if you do not feel confident with your English speaking skills and English writing skills, then you need to improve on that as soon as you can. Why? Because it will be very difficult to survive law school if you do not have a good command in the English language, both oral and written. Do you know the basic rules of the English grammar? Subject-verb agreement? Simple, complex, compound sentences? Do you know how to use the punctuation marks properly? Because if you have difficulty in these aspects, I can guarantee that you will not survive law school. Why? Because your law professors will not have the patience to give you a passing grade if your English is really very bad. Okay? Or even if they will give you 75 and eventually you graduate from law school, I highly guarantee you will not pass the bar exams. So it is very important that you work on your English speaking and writing skills ASAP. Now let's talk about logic. When we say logic in the context of 3 L's, we don't necessarily mean being philosophical in your answers. Your answers or position must be arranged or delivered in such a way that they are clear, logical, and comprehensible. What do we mean by that? Okay? When you give your answers, be direct to the point as much as you can. There's no need to beat around the bush. There's no need to use flowery words in order to present your answers. Okay, you can use the most simple language there is. Doesn't matter, as long as you can give the answer that's being asked of you. Nothing more, nothing less. Unless you are being asked to explain further. Okay? It's like this. If you want to get to point A, if there's a more direct way of going to that place, then take that route. Never ever ever give answers that tend to lead to point B and then eventually you would circle back to point A. That's not desirable in law school. So if you are not yet confident about your answering skills, I highly suggest that you practice, okay, with the most basic questions like what do you intend to do in law school? Then I think you can more or less give a straight to the point answer to that question. Then why can't you apply that principle in your law school answers? Okay? Now let's talk about law school materials. Sometimes your law professors would recommend certain textbooks. Sometimes your professors would give you the freedom to choose your reference textbooks. What's very important to note is that there is no need for you to hoard materials. You can just stick to one reference material. Okay? The secret really is to read. And you have no other choice but to read. Another thing, if you are buying reading materials for your law subjects, you have to make sure that you are reading the latest material. You cannot afford to read textbooks that are obsolete. You have to remember that laws are sometimes amended, if not repealed. So you have to be updated on these changes. What about handwriting? How's your handwriting? Is it legible or not? Because if your handwriting at this point in time is not readable, then you need to practice writing. Should you write in cursive? No, there's no need for you to write in cursive. Let me tell you, when I took the bar exam, I did not write in cursive. Okay, I used the shorthand in writing my answers. The most important thing to remember really is that um, your handwriting should be legible enough, so much so that even if your professor has such bad eyesight, then at least he or she is still capable of reading your answers. Okay? Now, pen and paper test is applicable to some, if not a lot, of law schools nowadays. When you will take the bar exams, you can reasonably expect that you will have to use your own laptop, meaning to say it's typewritten, okay, or computerized. So for the bar exams, you won't have any issue if your handwriting is not so legible. But in some law schools, they may still implement, or they may still be implementing the pen and paper test. So since you will still be in law school employing the pen and paper testing method, then you really have to improve on your handwriting. Okay, do not use ball pens in law school. You should get used to using sign pens. Are you required to join fraternities or sororities? No, you are not required to join fraternities or sororities. But if you do decide to join these kinds of organizations, you have to remember that you must be joining them of your own free will. You should not be coerced into joining those groups, okay? How long until I can finish law school? Well, law school here in the Philippines is good for 4 years minimum. I have to emphasize the word minimum because most of the time, law students overstay in law school because of having failed certain subjects. Some law students would end up finishing law school after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 7 years. Some would even take 10 years to finish law school. Now, remember that once you're in law school, this is not a race. Okay? Take your time to finish law school. Okay? It can get expensive, yes, but your motivation should not be I should finish law school in 4 years because I have no money. You may be better off saying that I will take my time finishing law school even if it would take me more than 4 years to finish it. That might be more cost effective. And of course, I'm not only talking about cost, I'm also talking about your time and effort. Because there's that factor that if you keep on experiencing failures, of course, the tendency is that you'd quit. Do you really want to quit? Or do you want to be a lawyer one day? So take it easy. Um, do it at your own pace. Don't subject yourself to too much unnecessary pressure. Okay? Because if you are way too distracted by those pressures, then that might be the reason why you won't finish law school in the end. So that's it for today's video. Did you learn something today? Leave them in the comments below.